Good morning, good morning, good morning to the Soul Man Surgery here on this Friday morning, the 15th of January, already halfway through that rubbish month that everybody hates. This morning we have got, again, the very lovely Susan Watson, backed by popular demand, and we are speaking today about the vagus nerve, which is an absolutely fascinating subject. Enjoy the show! Good morning, Charlie.
That's exactly what I was laughing at. So I'm having to get Stephen to change that photograph.
I can see you laughing backstage. It's hilarious.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for inviting me along again.
Yeah. Thank you for being here again, as always. So this morning, everybody, we are speaking to Susan about an amazing, amazing part of the body, which is the vagus nerve. So Susan, talk to us. What is the vagus nerve?
It is actually amazing, and the more I look into it, the more I find out about it, the more I think we're just like, wow. So the vagus nerve is like the superhighway within your body. It carries information from your brain all the way down your body. It comes down your face, down your throat, goes all through all your major organs. And it is a major influence in your nervous system within your body. And it's very much connected to being able to relax and let go, stress release, and obviously linked to anxiety because it's linked to the amygdala in the brain, which is like what I call your watchdog, making sure you're safe all the time. So it really has a major influence on your body responses. So it's huge. Vagus nerve means the wandering nerve, and that's because it wanders all the way through the body, all over everywhere. And it helps you hear, talk. It's involved in human interaction. So it's involved in facial expressions, how your eyes move. It's when you feel connected to someone, when you're talking to them, that's linked to the vagus nerve. It's actually involved in relationship building because it's to do with feeling safe and comfortable with people. So there's a lot going on there, major influence in your well-being. So we need to look after it. And the more we learn about it, the more we realise why we should look after it. It's responsible for all the regulation of your major organs in your body. It's actually splits into two. It's a two-sided nerve. It looks after like your coughing, sneezing, gag reflex. It's responsible for all of that as well. Everything. Even being sick, that feeling when you're going to throw up, it's responsible for that. Responsible for our mood. It links into our, if we're feeling happy or sad or depressed, it's all involved in that as well. So quite a lot going on there, Stephen. Is that a bit more than you thought it would be? Because it's more than I knew the last time we were talking about it, because I've investigated it a little bit more.
I have been reading up about it as well, obviously. You know, I know the last time we were speaking about it, we were just, well, I was fascinated by it. So, you know, when I'm fascinated by something, especially when I'm stimulating it, I want to know why. So I've been looking at it and it's just the most amazing. Why are we not taught about the vagus nerve in school?
I know, it probably will come to that. There's a big focus on it in neuroscience and science at the moment. It certainly has been in the last few years, but there's more and more coming out about it all the time now. It's also responsible for neck pain. If you think it's coming down your neck, if you get aches in your neck, it can be linked to that as well. Because I used to get like neck and shoulders, and we'll touch on other ways that I've noticed how working on my vagus nerves changed my life. It's likely, I'm not saying definitely, but it's definitely a high chance that it's linked to like bloating, wind problems, IBS. Basically, if you're having lots of problems with your stomach, the chances are your brain has got something to do with it, and it's that connection from the vagus nerve, because the vagus nerve goes right into your gut. Overeating got a really influence on your eating habits. And if you've got any like inflammation in your stomach, it'll be the vagus nerve as well. So quite a lot going on there. It really is. I know I touched on this briefly with you before we came on because I couldn't wait to tell you, oh, look what I found out. Last year, I had problems with my stomach and it's acid reflux. And I was getting like pains in my chest and it was coming up my throat, up to my ear, but it was like toothache. It was in all my jaw as well. And I've had it for quite a long time, but I thought, you know what, Susan, you shouldn't ignore this. Go and get it checked. And I ended up getting a few scans at the hospital. And then I got the tube down my throat and it was acid problems. And I had an inkling that I might have some food allergies. So I sent away some hairs to get a food allergy test, and it came back that my vagus nerve had low activation. Now, over the last year, I've been working a lot in vagus nerve because I've been using the stimulator. You've got other equipment that I've got, plus even with the tapping that I do, we do humming. So I'm working on my vagus nerve every day just with the work I'm doing. And I have to say, I don't have any problems with acid or stomach or chest pains or anything like that anymore. So that was a really quite an eye-opener for me, actually, because I would never have thought of that in a million years. Especially when it comes to just anything to do with your stomach. I just thought it was my stomach. I didn't realise that this wonderful vagus nerve could impact your well-being and health quite so much. So it's interesting.
I was reading a study about a Japanese doctor. Goes a wee bit off topic, but it's the same. I was reading a study about a Japanese doctor who's been doing lots and lots of studies. Can't remember what his name is because he's a Japanese doctor. But basically what he was doing is he was testing the vagus nerve and its response to like people's everyday illnesses. He says, you know, acute illness, absolutely, most definitely go to the doctor, your GP, because you need medical intervention straight away. Yeah. But it was things like IBS, it was things like asthma as well, you know, like issues that people have had for many years. And what he was noticing is when people were working on the vagus nerve, they're not curing themselves, but they're certainly, you know, like completely eradicating most of the symptoms of these illnesses just by activating that essential nerve in the body. It's amazing. It's really, really
it is linked very much to chronic conditions, like what you're saying, long-term conditions. So you're right. I mean, health-wise, I'll just recap very briefly what's possibly, and I'm stressing possibly, vagus nerve because I'm not a medical practitioner. Regular heartburn, digestive problems, acid reflux, depression, anxiety, weight gain, poor quality sleep, migraine. That's just a few of the things that actually can be really influenced. And a lot of these things that are really common. Like how many people really experience these conditions?
Yeah. And would you think that when someone's experiencing all these conditions, does that mean that their vagus nerve isn't working properly, or
there's different levels of it functioning? So it's what we call is stimulate it to make it high functioning. If it's functioning low, it can contribute to your well-being not being as good as you would hope for. But the exercises we're going to cover in here is how you can exercise it and make it stronger and stimulate it. But I've got to say, if anyone's got any conditions that are causing them concern, they would always go to their doctor. They wouldn't just say, I'm going to stimulate my vagus nerve. You've got to go and get it checked out first.
Yeah.
And I would always say that any conditions get it checked by a medical practitioner. But however, all these exercises we're going to talk about are really useful for people to know.
Yeah. I'm just going to pop that up. It's all right. Keep talking, Susan.
All right, that's fine. So by stimulating the vagus nerve, what you do is you send a message to your body that it's time to relax and de-stress. And that's exactly what you do when you start to do these exercises. And if you do it on a regular basis, you have long-term improvements in your mood, your well-being, and your body's resilience. By increasing your vagal tone, it helps you overcome anxiety and depression. And when you do have them, it makes you stronger to actually deal with it and manage it more effectively. So it's really important. There's a branch of the vagus nerve that's connected to the ear. And so when you're listening to music, what it does, that's why music influences how you feel. It slows your heart rate, calms your mood, because music is actually calming your autonomic nervous system in your body through the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve's picking your music up, and it's having that whole effect on your nervous system. I mean, I know that I do that. I mean, before I came on here, before I'm going to do anything, I always listen to music. Generally, if I sing along a couple of tunes, it just puts me in a different frame of mind.
Yeah, and singing as well. You know, singing, I think, is one thing that we should all do. And yeah, it's amazing how many people don't, and feel it's sounding silly, isn't it? You know, so we should all be singing.
I wouldn't sing. I wouldn't sing in front of other people, right? Ever, because I am the worst singer in the world. Actually, I'm telling a lie. The only person I sing in front of is Scott, and he always tells me to shut up because I'm really that bad. So he leaves the room and just lets me get on with it. But I always say I don't need to be good because it makes me feel, lifts my mood, lifts my spirit. So I do sing a lot. I actually dance as well, and I'm the worst dancer. I have no sense of rhythm or coordination, but I wouldn't dance in front of anybody else either. But I like it. I like it. I do. It's just an amazing thing. But now we know that it's stimulating the vagus nerve too, and actually changing your whole working of your nervous system inside. So sing loud. That's what I say.
I think it depends on what kind of music you like as well, because, you know, like I'm very eclectic. I can, you know, like this morning I was listening to Disturbed, which spookily you were as well.
I know.
Disturbed, and then I can go from like I could go from like AC/DC to, you know, harp music or whatever, and I think any kind of music you just want to sing along to, don't you?
Yeah, well, I do as well.
Yeah.
Actually, touching on singing, it is really beneficial, but you get more out of it if you're actually singing in a choir.
Oh, wow.
And the reason that what I was talking about, the vagus nerve connection, being connected to people, relationship building, you're part of a bigger thing in a choir. You're connected. So it actually increases your vagal tone even more if you're singing in a choir.
That's amazing. Really, yeah.
Because that's the relationship building part as well. So it's chanting, gargling. I don't think I'm very good at chanting, but chanting and gargling. If you do it and humming from the right in your throat, if you get it down there, because that's where the vagal nerve is.
Forms of meditation actually that pull your, you know, so you've got like the chanting Tibetan meditations where they pull everything down into the lower area of your throat, and
I'm impressed. I'm going to buy your CD. No, but that's where you have to take it, right down to the lower part of your throat, and that is where it has the greatest impact on your vagus nerve. So what they're doing is actually increasing their well-being by doing that, which exactly is what they're doing. So there you are. You need to have chanting classes now, Stephen.
You know, we have actually done them before. We've done those kind of, you know, the Om Mani Padme Hum, you know, and that's Omne Padme Hum. That's anyway. I'm not going to go into that. That's a completely different surgery, but there is most definitely a place for it, and I think. Then Diane, I'm just want to jump to Diane's question very quickly, because Diane's asking there, because it's relevant to now, does different music affect the vagus nerve in different ways? For example, the vibration.
I think when you're listening to the music in your ear, I think the music itself would just, any kind of music would vibrate it from your ear. But if you're taking it down to the humming and the chanting and all that into your throat, then it would be a far greater impact of it.
See, I really want to get into the whole, and I'm not going to, because I'm absolutely fascinated by the vibration of sound, and you know, where we can take ourselves to beta, alpha, delta, all of the different.
But you're right, because if you think of the different levels, think it like, well, you know that you get sound therapy, sound meditations, and they all do a different thing. I mean, I went for a sound bath once, and I literally just crawled out on my knees. I've never felt so ill or sick in my life. And I swore I would never go back, because I thought it was a lot of rubbish. I thought this was just nothing on me. And I'd been a bit, there was something that I remember what it was. I had a sadness in me. Something had happened. I had a sadness in me. And I don't know what that sound bath done to me, but I actually thought I was going to throw up on the floor. And I actually literally had to practically crawl out and go straight home to my bed. And the person said to me it was because of the emotions coming out in me to do with that. And so that is
the sound baths, though, for people to feel really wiped out after it. Do you know, like way back, ancient civilizations, that's what they used to do. They used to gong their sick. They used to have all the sick people lined up in front of gongs, and they used to gong. You know,
it done something. Whatever the sound vibrations were, it definitely made a difference. It made me feel hellish, actually. But after it, the next day, the next day I felt better. So it was a release of something. But in that moment, yeah, I felt I'd just been tortured. I just had to go and lie in a dark room.
So you're really selling sound baths for everybody that's watching.
It helped. It helped. Maybe I had a lot to come out. Yeah. Your vagus nerve as well. Massage the side of your neck where it comes down. Massaging the side of your neck, right outside your throat, stimulates it. Or a foot massage. A foot massage can do that as well. That increases what's called vagal modulation. Just get a nice foot massage, and it also helps lower blood pressure.
Is that why that feels so good? Like, see when you have your neck, because we were speaking about this yesterday, actually, in yesterday's surgery, how when you have that massage on the sides of the neck, it can feel really, really good.
See, I'm not somebody to ask that question, because if anybody touches my neck, my head shrinks into my shoulders within 2 seconds. It gives me the creeps.
See, I love it. See when I have a massage and they just do the sides of the neck, it's just the best.
It's actually making my skin crawl thinking about it. I'm really sensitive about that. Even if anybody comes up and just touches the back of my neck, I might do a punch going backwards.
So never touch Susan Watson in the back of the neck, folks, if you're ever in her company.
Going back to the vagus nerve, because this is a really important bit, because I touched on relationship. And if you think like teamwork with people, anyone who works with teams or groups of people, so this is a good thing as well, is that it increases positive social connections, because it's all to do with their facial expressions. And if your vagus nerve, if you're around people and you've got a high functioning vagal function, you feel easier connected to people, you build relationships better, you feel more part of a team, if you like. That's why the choir works really well. Feelings of love and compassion and goodwill, you'll experience more of that. And the more love you put out and more compassion you show people, and the more goodwill that you have. So all these positive things, these positive emotions actually increase the function of your own vagus nerve. So if you were someone who was quite negative thinking, quite antisocial, just didn't like people to be near them, the likelihood is your vagal nerve is going to be functioning quite low, because it actually increases by love and compassion. That's really interesting.
I think that's... I'm not surprised by that in the slightest, Susan, because, you know, I know many dickheads in life who are, pardon my French for anybody who, you know, but there's many people who they just see the world has got this deck for them, you know, it's like, I hate my life and why does that person get this, and why does, you know, there's many people like that, and those are the people that are always unwell, they're always sick, they've always got, you know, issues with their own emotional well-being.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other people who are always like upbeat, happy, who are very well.
So if you think everybody knows, well, I think everybody knows, by doing a kindness gesture for somebody, you get a reward of feeling good. It does make you feel good to be nice, right? But would you have ever thought there was a science in that in your body? That the reason that makes you feel so nice is because by being kind, your vagal nerve stimulated so high that you get a really strong sense of well-being. I would never have put it down to that.
I don't know, because personally, when I'm doing things that are good for people, I always feel this sense of euphoria. So I suppose there is some kind of chemical release there. I always feel good.
Yeah, I get the chemical release, but I don't think I ever put it down to that particular, this nerve going through my body.
Yeah, definitely not.
Acupressure to the face, because it's to do with your face as well. Acupressure to the face is very good for increasing your vagal nerve. And I'm just going to talk about my little thing here for a second. This is auricular therapy. And what it is,
Hate that thing.
it's just a little, I don't know if you can hear that. Can you see that? No. It's just a little electrical current that passes through that, and I do acupressure on the ear for all different things, weight, emotions, anxiety, etc. But what that's doing is that's actually activating the vagal nerve too. Stephen cried like a baby. Cried like a baby, and it's not even sore.
Torture! That's the worst tool ever. I see it as one of these medieval torture devices where you stick it inside and pull the brain out.
I swear to God, not one other person ever has said to me that hurts. And yet we've got him screaming on video.
It really does hurt me. I don't know why. It hurts.
You've just got to be sensitive ears, that's all. You're quite sensitive anyway, and like always. So that's what that is. I wanted to show this as well. This is a bod. I don't know if I got the camera, because my camera's wonky. There you are. And this is a system that it's sound, actually. It's different sound frequencies. So you put headphones on and you tune it in to whatever's going on. It's very difficult to explain. So if you came with anxiety, we tune it into your anxiety feelings, and then we disrupt it, and it changes the brain waves for like overeating, habits, addictions, all different things. So it moves the habits of your mind, what are causing you to do that. But what it actually does is, I just found out yesterday, it actually activates the vagal nerve as well. And it changes that, which I found really interesting, because I've been using that for a while, but I didn't actually know that it worked with the vagus nerve. And Stephen, I know you've had this a few times, eh?
Yeah, I absolutely love the bod therapy. It's probably one of my favourite things to do.
Yeah, it's quite an annoying noise, but it does the trick. I think
it's great.
Yeah. I find it an annoying noise, but I know that I've used it on myself as well, and I found it really useful. And the feedback for the majority of people that try it out think it's really good. So there's lots of different things. And Stephen's got his wee thing to show you.
So this, well, it's not my wee thing, it's your wee thing.
You're using it. You're using it.
So this is Susan's vagal nerve stimulator. So I've been using this. You just clip it onto your left ear. And I've been using this for the last 4 or 5 weeks, Susan.
Yeah, it must be about that. Yeah. I'm just going to check this.
And I have to say, guys, I've been using this twice a day. So it gives me 30 minutes or 15 minutes each time.
Yeah.
And I use it twice a day. So 30 minutes every single day. And things are very, very different for me. And I know that sounds really, that sounds very like, whoa, that's a big statement to make. But I don't care about eating too much. I don't care about eating too little anymore. It's a really weird thing because I don't really have, usually this time of year, you know, January time, I would be like, right, I need to lose weight, I need to lose a few pounds. I'm feeling really overweight, and this time round I'm making good choices. I'll still have a cake or a bag of crisps if I want it, but I'm certainly not having 10 bags of crisps or the whole packet of cakes. It's really, really helped me massively. And it's the only thing that I can put it down to, because I've not been doing anything else apart from using the vagus nerve stimulator. I'm sleeping better as well. I go to bed every night about 11 o'clock and I'm waking up at 7:30, 8 every morning. So I'm getting a full 8 hours rested sleep. Everything's better. So what's your take on that, Dr. Watson?
Well, you've been using it for a while, and everything that you've mentioned is what a high functioning vagus nerve would do. It gives you better sleep. It does influence your eating, your overeating or eating healthier. It cuts down on cravings. It affects your mood. So all these things that you're doing, it absolutely does do. And I'm just going to get a wee plug in here for you, Stephen. Anyone who books in for this when Stephen's shop's back open gets free vagus nerve stimulation if they want it. Yeah, that's included in that in the shop. So I think that's quite a good wee offer for you. So I just thought I'd put that in.
Do you know what's quite interesting is when I first started using this, Susan, is that I found it a little bit unbearable because it's like a nipping in your ear. And I know that you said, don't be in pain. I wasn't in pain. It was bearable just. Mm-hmm. But some days I can put this on and put it in exactly the same position in my ear and I don't feel anything at all now.
Yeah.
And
that's because it's more functioning. Because what it actually says is when you start to use it, if it's sort of keep it at a very low level, mm-hmm. and then the more you use it, you can turn it up until you're at the maximum. But you got on straight away quite high, and obviously you were making it stimulating a lot. You were putting a lot of current through that because it's an electrical current that you're putting into your vagus nerve. And that alone, by the fact that you're saying that you don't really feel it that much now, says that you've got a far more higher functioning vagal tone now, which is good, really good.
Yeah, because at first I felt it massively. I was like, it's sore every day, Susan. And you're like, well, turn it down, you dafty. You know.
You were going to say something else. Eh?
You were going to say Fanny. I was going to say Fanny because normally you would say something like that. But it's great. And you know, I was really surprised as well. So this tiny little thing, this little wire, and that was like, what, 300 and odd pounds, Susan?
£370 or something it costs them.
Crazy for this tiny little device, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like protected. It's in one of the most protected places in the house, so nobody can get to it.
Therapy equipment's always really expensive, but it's worth it because it can really make a difference to people's lives. It's worth investing in it. For me, it's worth investing in it because that's the kind of work I do, so it's good. It's
really helped me, and I think I've probably had more vagal stimulation than most normal people would ever have.
I know. That's good though, Stephen. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So I'm going to... Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, it's okay. I'm just saying I do feel the difference, so it is really good. So go for it.
I just want to share some exercises that people can do at home that haven't got all these little bits of equipment that we've got that we can use. So you can splash ice cold water in your face. I do that every morning. First, as soon as I get up, really ice cold water in my face. Or you can fill up the sink with really cold water and dip your face in it if you're braver. Immerse your face in it. You can get the same effect if you've got like a Ziploc bag. You can fill it with ice cubes, Ziploc bag with ice cubes, and just sort of press it against your face. But while you're putting the bag on your face with the ice cubes, hold your breath and just take in a few deep breaths. then that'll really stimulate the vagus nerve. Now, I'm not talking about holding a bag of ice cubes constantly on your face. I'm just talking about a couple of seconds to do
It'll
that.
also firm up the skin and make you look nice and youthful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You can activate your gag reflex with your toothbrush, because I know it sounds horrible, but activating your gag reflex stimulates the vagal nerve. Gargle with salt water after brushing your teeth, because the gargling with salt water is actually really good for your throat, but if the gargling is for your vagal nerve.
Does it need to be salt water?
No, it's just that salt water would be soothing as well, because it's healing, isn't it? Salt water is healing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. Practice humming, that deep sort of humming that you were doing deep in your throat. There you go. Breathe through your nose. Now, I'm going to say especially at night, snorers snore with their mouth open, right? So you're far better if you can breathe through your nose rather than your mouth. So breathing through your nose is the activator. So that's a good one. Laugh lots and often. And I like a good laugh. My husband says I'm the most annoyingly happy person he's ever met. And I'm so happy it gets on his nerves so I have to stop it. Because I laugh at everything. I laugh at myself. Do you know what? Life's too short. I'm just somebody that enjoys laughing. I think it drives him crazy because he's not like that. So I just laugh at him too. Now, reduce jaw tension, because if you think the vagus nerve comes down your jaw, it's important to release the tension. So we're going to get Stephen to demonstrate the jaw hang. Just let your jaw hang really loose, let your tongue hang out. Just sit like that for a minute. That is activating the vagus nerve. And I'm so glad I'm not doing that. But I do it. I just wouldn't do it on here on live streaming.
It gives everybody a laugh at the same time. I'm sure that there's everybody that's watching is now sitting there like this.
Do you know what? If you drop your shoulders down and do that, it just lets all the tensions go in your body. It does. It lets all the tensions out your neck and shoulders. And it's so good for you. It really is. But it does look good to watch. It's making you laugh. It's making you laugh. So let's have a look at look after your gut. Lower your stress levels. So anyone who was watching the methods that I was discussing on Monday about ways to regulate your stress and anxiety, regulate your body, do them, because the more you de-stress yourself, the healthier your stomach is, the healthier your vagus nerve is, the better your mood is, everything. So it's important to look after stress, self-regulation. Chronic high levels of stress are really hard on your whole body, your well-being, including your gut. So it's important to manage that. Get enough sleep. Sleep's so important. We actually heal in our sleep. Our body heals our bones, our skin, everything like that. It looks after us when we're in deep sleep. So it's important to get deep sleep. Plus it processes memories and emotions as well during sleep. So sleep's really quite vital to do that. Eat slowly. This is something I need to work on. Eat slowly and slowly chew your foods. I just sort of shovel it in. So I know that because I can finish a whole meal and my husband's only had 2 mouthfuls. So that tells me either he's very slow or I'm super quick. So eat slowly. And if you try even eating mindfully, so like don't be sitting in front of the television or something, because you end up thinking, God, I finished that and I didn't even realise that I was eating it. Where if you put the TV off and eat or whatever, and actually are aware of what you're eating, you're sending signals up to your mind and your stomach. You're more likely to know when you're full. I mean, I know I've done that lots of time. I've been maybe sitting eating crisps or something, and I look in the bag and saying, how's the bag empty? And it's because I'm just eating without actually thinking about it.
See, I never ever eat watching the TV. I find that crazy.
It's quite common, Stephen.
Yeah, it's really common. People sit with their dinner on their lap and watch the telly, and I'm like, really?
I used to do that all the time, and I did do it all the time. Scott likes sitting at a table. If it wasn't for him, I'd still be sitting on the settee probably, but he's definitely a table person. Which is quite good though, because I know, because I'm a really quick eater, that I'm not even conscious half the time that I was eating. So it's an important thing to be aware of.
The best way of not eating watching TV is to buy yourself a really light coloured carpet.
Yeah.
We never eat in the living room. It's always in the kitchen.
That's a good parent. An obvious one is stay hydrated, because we need to drink. And if you really want to take care of your gut, you can look at things like prebiotics or probiotics, because your stomach really does tie into your vagus nerve, the health of your stomach. And if you're having real problems, I'm not saying you should do this, but I would say it's a consideration. What I done was I got my food intolerances checked. And that was quite an eye-opener for me. That was good. And omega-3 from fish is especially good for the vagus nerve. Seafood, fish. See, a damaged or low functioning vagus nerve can't send signals to your stomach. They don't get the same quality signals to your stomach muscles. So what happens, instead of your food getting digested properly, right, the food can stay in your stomach a lot longer. But it would normally, if the functioning vagus nerve, it would go into your stomach, it would get digested, and then travels through the process of leaving us. But what happens is, if your vagus nerve isn't working, the food stays in your stomach longer. So if you think that it's not the way we're built for that, so it's not healthy, a healthy way of digesting food. So instead of going into our small intestine to be digested, it actually lies in our stomach. That's probably why we get all bloated and wind and all these sort of things. It's quite interesting, eh?
Really is. So we're going to throw out questions now, Susan. We're going to ask if anybody wants to ask any questions. So we do have a couple here already. We've got Ross there saying Stephen's always blaring Enya.
Do you know what? I would think I've got an Enya album somewhere, actually.
Ross is my brother-in-law, so you know if he's ever been in the house, I'm always playing something like Enya or something chilled and spiritual. Or Diane is saying, great, my meditation this week is on kindness and compassion. I'm going to slip in this advice on the vagal nerve and I'll sound all scientific.
You will, Diane, you will. And you know what? How important is that to get that in there? Because it's actually making a difference to every single person's health by doing that. So that's good stuff.
Daniel, Diane's one of our wonderful meditation teachers. So that's amazing that she's. And do you know, she ran her first class last week with 18 people. How crazy is that?
Well done. That's excellent. Amazing. Really good. Yes.
Liz Graham is asking, would this help with tinnitus?
Tinnitus, I'm not sure about that. I know that I wouldn't do vagal nerve stimulation on your ear with tinnitus. And this might help a wee bit. The acupressure might help tinnitus, because there is a process for working on tinnitus. But the thing is, there's no guarantees. It might lessen it, but I wouldn't do the direct vagal nerves electrical current in anyone who's got tinnitus.
Yeah.
But there's the things that you can try, Liz, that may help it. I think probably the acupressure for the ear would be the first step that I would go for. But I know that the electrical current isn't recommended for tinnitus. I mean, it's actually on there. It's not recommended for it.
Louise Young is saying this has been super helpful. I have had chronic pancreatitis and this nerve.
Well, do you know what, Louise? That's all these things we're talking about. They increase your body's ability to heal and get better and make you feel stronger. So even if it couldn't have a direct influence, because I can't say it would on any particular condition, it can definitely have a lot of positive influences in other areas of your life that will lift how you feel and your well-being, without a doubt.
I think that's the thing. It's not going to cure any kind of condition, is it, Susan? It's just really helping to support your overall well-being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I would say. But it influences your well-being in all areas of your life, really.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about physical, emotional, mental, it's so locked into everything. And if you think that this vagus nerve travels through every single major organ in our body, we want to keep that as highly functioning as possible.
I'm still blown away by the fact that, you know, it's not widely known, and it's not, you know, it's crazy because it's responsible and it's tied to every single major organ in the body. So surely it should be something that should be spoke about all the time.
There is theories that are like that are a lot of practitioners are getting trained in now. Very much the mind-body connection, and I would say probably in the last 5 or 6 years that's more evident. But there's a lot of these theories that are becoming stronger, and more people are buying into them, if you like. So you're going to hear a lot more about it. Definitely going to hear a lot more about it.
Yeah. Diane is jumping in there as well. 1 second. Diane is asking where the vagus nerve is. And I'm just trying to find an image of it so I can show her.
It goes everywhere. Comes down your brain, down from your ear, along your face, down your throat, and then just goes through everything. You had a diagram before, didn't you, Stephen?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
It'd be quite interesting for you to see, Diane. You'll see just how much why it's called the wandering nerve, because it really does wander everywhere, all the way through your body. See if Stephen can find it for you. If not, he can maybe put it up later on and show you. There's some really good diagrams out there where it covers.
I think I found a really good one.
Here he goes. Let's see what he's got.
You ready?
Yep. Are you able to share it?
I'm trying. 1 second. I should be able to see to share that. I've just never shared anything on this platform before, so that's the...
And Diane, I know that you work with people who are involved in sport, where if you think it's important to stay calm and balanced and focused, working on their vagus nerve will really help them do that as well. They'll be able to achieve more, feel more confident and in control.
Yeah.
Can you not do it? Well, that's a bit of a disappointment, Stephen. You've let us down.
Hold on a minute. I will be able to share this.
Right.
I'm determined. Right, 1 second, 1 second.
If everybody watching it tries some of the exercises, I'm not saying you have to do them all, but try them. But don't just do them once. Try and introduce them into parts of your life. And honestly, you'll feel so much better. Or get in touch with me on my Perfect Solutions page. I'm happy to share some information for you.
Yeah, it's not letting me.
Ah, well.
Damn it. But usually I would be able to share it. So what I'll maybe do is I'll maybe just pop into the comments or pop up on our Facebook page after this, where the vagus nerve is and what it is and what it looks like. So this diagram that I've got, it's coming down from the brain and it's going into the ears, and then it's coming down into the heart, the lungs, the liver, every single organ it's attached to.
Mm-hmm.
Really is fascinating, isn't it?
You can manually, I don't know if I can do it here. You can bring your hands down the back of your head, down the front side of your neck, down in between your boobs, round your ribs, round your stomach, and then sort of push your hands. The only way I can describe it is out between your legs. And doing that, if you follow that path on your body, that manually stimulates your vagus nerve as well. So it's just down the middle of the chest bone, round your ribs, round your stomach, and then out.
Anne Martin is asking, is the vagus nerve tied in any way with EFT?
I don't think, well, the only way that I could think it would tie in is if you're tapping on your face. That's acupressure points on your face, where acupressure points on your face activate the vagus nerve. So I would say, because with EFT, you normally tap points, the acupressure points in the face. So there, I would think it ties in that way. Yeah. Great. That makes sense. It makes sense, actually. Thank you, Anne. That's a good point.
Diane is saying, thanks, Susan. Funnily, I get the skaters to rub their ears before competing or early morning practice to make them focus. I didn't realise they were stimulating this nerve.
There you are. I didn't realise that either, but you're absolutely right, because massaging it, well done. That's good. See, this is, now I've just learnt that, because now when I'm teaching people, I'm going to get people to rub their ears. And you know, I do a lot of work with kids. And you know what? That's a perfect way for me to show children how to do it. So thank you, Diane. I've just learned something from you.
That's a tip that Diane gave me a few years back, actually. She'd be like, how are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm just really tired today. And she'd be like, rub your ears. And I would rub my ears and it would stop me yawning. It would really stimulate.
And kids would buy into that. So if I'm going to work with kids, I get a lot of kids with anxiety, I'm going to start saying to them, right, let's rub your ears. That's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you.
Anne Martin is saying, fab, thanks. That was my thinking too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any more questions on the vagus nerve? I think we've stumped everybody this morning, Susan. They're all like, whoa.
It is really interesting. It's quite scientific, really, but we try and keep it, when we're talking about it, as simple. But it's just amazing the way it actually influences so much about you. And no, it's not even just about you, it's how you relate to people, how you build relationships with people, how you feel part of society. Who would have thought that it would have done that, really? That's quite, really interesting, actually.
It is, it's fascinating. I think if we all just done these very simple things, you know, like the list of things that you've given us there, I think these things are really, really, really easy, aren't they?
Yeah. I tend to, whenever I'm working with people anyway, I put everything that I do into a simple method, because if I leave anything complicated, nobody will do them, especially when I'm working with people with anxiety or depression and things like that, where everything is sort of an effort. You want to keep it simple. If it's simple, people will do it, as long as it's just as effective and they get the results from it. Yeah. And make it fun. I like fun. And now we know why, because having fun and laughter makes you feel fantastic too. Builds your relationships, so it's good. So I've got a lot to thank my vagus nerve for, actually, in the work that I do. It's got a major part in it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if people were to look at all of the things that they do, they could probably see if they're that really happy, healthy, upbeat kind of person, they're probably someone with a very high functioning vagal nerve, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. I mean, when I had that problem with my stomach last year, it would never have entered my mind that it could be anything to do with a vagus nerve. If I hadn't got that test done that said you've got a low vagal stimulation, I would never have thought that all these aches and pains and acids and everything was related to that. So that's a bit an eye-opener for me as well, because I'm learning all the time as well. Everything I do, there's so much to learn. So it's really interesting.
I'm trying to find a way to share this, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'm trying my best to share it live. It's doing my head in.
Oh, something coming up, Stephen.
It's me.
Oh, it's a weird you.
It's just a different. What do you call it?
Oh, that's so funny. I'm thinking, thank God it was you and not me.
Aye, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to try and share this, but I don't think I'm going to be able to.
You can just put it on your Facebook later. Has anyone got any questions in particular or specific to themselves or anything that they would like to know a bit more about? Because you can ask me anything at all. Something nearly came up there, Stephen.